was wrong, and I know it.
It was. Oh, that was funny.
Welcome to the real old
Okay.
parenting of people who don't want to go to work.
Oh,
Welcome to the
goodness.
real old parenting, where we believe that anytime there is anything more than sprinkles, we should never have to leave the house because, first of all,
Yes.
we are not 25 anymore. I'm Coach Kiana Shaw,
I'm nervous, Danielle.
and we are tired. Okay. If it's
Yes,
too
we are.
cold, too wet, too hot, I don't want to have to leave the comfort
The house.
of my
Yes.
house, not even to take my child to school. There should be a school bus that comes on the days that I don't feel like it. And I get it. Somebody gonna say that's lazy. Judge, judge yourself. I was gonna say something else, but judge
Hmm.
yourself.
You can fill in accordingly. But yeah.
Stay away from judging me. All right? I like things how I like them, and this ain't it. Okay. All right. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Coach Kiana.
I love it. I have enjoyed these last couple of weeks of just having you.
Oh,
We
well,
don't get
thank
to talk.
you.
Like
I
we,
know. We be
y'all, when
chopping
I
it
say
up.
we don't get to talk, it's not like we can't pick up the phone. It's just life be life. And like we got kids. She has a husband. I'm trying to get a husband. Like it's just a lot. Like
Right. It's the whole agenda, right? Yes.
there are
A healthy one,
businesses.
okay? So,
Right, right,
yes.
right. Because I'm really
Yes.
not
Not any old
trying to
one.
get a husband,
Anyways,
y'all. Like
that'd be a whole
let
nother
me
topic.
clarify that I am not
Yes.
trying to get
Don't be trying
a
to be in the
husband.
DMs if you ain't
Well,
healthy.
now wait a
Then
minute, because I ain't against having one. So, like, depending on how you come correct in them DMs, like, yeah. But
let me not speak for her, okay?
but
Oh,
please
goodness.
though, you gotta come correct because my block game is strong, honey.
That it is.
And and I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. All right. What's up, Danielle?
Please leave it at that.
See, I'm trying to recover over here. All right. So today we are talking about what we as parents say versus what our children hear. And this is actually something that can be used with spouses, like what we say to them versus what they hear.
Right.
Sometimes it is, well, I'm not going to say sometimes. I think oftentimes we hear things based on our past experiences, good, bad, indifferent. Am I, would you say that? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree to the aspect of it does impact our version of hearing. That's what I'll say to that. It does impact. And granted, you'll understand what we were talking about, or referencing as we go deeper into the topic itself. But
Yes.
past life experiences pertaining to, you as an adult, but
Mhm.
as in regards to the children, it still has an impact. It
Yes.
still influences how we communicate and how things come off. So the words may have came
Dog
out
just
your
scared
out
me.
your huh?
The dog, he just
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute.
he licked my finger, girl. Listen, I almost told his whole desk apart.
Oh,
Sorry to
y'all bear with
interrupt.
us, okay?
I'm sorry to
Just bear
listen,
with us,
y'all,
okay?
because these pets, like this one, this is Caleb. It's not even my dog. Like,
She
when
keeps
you
saying
leave,
that.
take
She
your
keeps
dog
saying that.
with you.
Coach Kiana is the mama and Kayla is the auntie. That's how that goes.
That's not true. First of all, I am his grand human. I am not a pet mom. I think that is
Okay.
very disrespectful to real moms. Like,
Well,
it-
hey,
I am your grand human. Kayla's your human.
that's not how
I'm
he
your
responds to
grand
you.
human. And I get it. Like, some people are like, oh, it's very disrespectful to say that I'm not a mom because I'm a mom to a dog. Okay, you can identify as you wish. As for me and my house, we are the humans to this dog. And I need her to take her dog with her. I get it.
Oh, what was we talking about?
Pets are supposed to be family, but
They are.
yeah,
They are.
no.
But so back to
Yeah,
the
before
what I
somebody write
said
in, because y'all
versus
y'all little thumb
what's been
thugs
heard.
killing me. Okay.
So today's topic. Did we even say that?
Fact. I think we did.
Oh, did we?
What we said versus what they heard. I did. I
Oh,
did.
okay, we did. Yes. Okay, I remember. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all bear with us. We getting it together. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like Coach Kiana was saying, like this in itself actually can apply to any relationship.
Yeah.
It's because we all communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all do some form of communication, let's say that. So when it comes to your children, it's kind of you said one thing and how they respond, it's like you're like, what are they doing? Like, did they not hear what I said?
Yeah.
And if you have a child that is in a place of being able to communicate and express how they feel, there may be some times where you were like, I didn't say that. Like, I don't, what you talking about? Because I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the child may be able to actually speak to that
Yes.
versus just saying, yes, you did. And the speak to that aspect is your body language, your tone,
Mm-hmm.
the nonverbals that's having a whole conversation before your mouth even opens. So, and I'm guilty. I'm guilty. My first language was nonverbal, because that was the only way you're going to survive in my family. If you didn't have a mean look, and not mean as in literal, but a look that had some power, you was not going to make it. You weren't. And that way, she's laughing because she understands.
I
But you, so, but as me being a mom now myself, that way of parenting, I have learned and continue to learn that does not work with me parenting our youngest child. Like,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't work. It
Even if
doesn't
it
have
worked
this.
on the other children, right? Because
Right.
all children are
Right.
different. You wouldn't want nobody
Mm-hmm.
dealing with you like, you know what I'm saying? If I am the second wife, don't deal with me like you did the first wife. Like I am a different person. You may
Right.
be the same person, but I am a totally different person. And I think that parents forget that when they're dealing with their
Right.
children. You're dealing with very different people.
Right. 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 So let's start with some of, or I guess you would say, typical things that parents tell their child or children, and what
Mm-hmm.
may be the possibility of what they hear. It's not every time, but just go with the aspects of kind of like what they hear or their translation of what message, what
Right.
unsaid message was taken from that.
You want me to go first?
So, sure. So we've all said it. I say it multiple times a day. I'm at the point to where I should not need to say it. And when I just start packing stuff up, she knows so she didn't do something.
Oh,
Anyways,
so
so this one is
we had the same number one then. Like
right, right. This is clean your room. Clean your room. There was a good almost a year that my daughter really felt like our room was clean. As I step on the carpet and something crunches underneath my foot, how is this clean? What parts of the room from top to bottom? Help me understand.
I can't. Well, no,
Exactly.
let me come back. Let me come back. Let me not say that. Because we were kids as well at some point.
True. True.
You can walk into my mother's house and see it absolutely spotless on any given day. Not in my house. Now, my house ain't junky,
Mm-hmm.
but the dishes
Mm-hmm.
might not be done. Because you know what? I was traumatized as a kid that the dishes had to be done every day. So like before you go to bed, no matter how tired you are, no matter how late you got it, I don't put myself through that as an adult. Them
Okay.
dishes be just fine in there until the morning. If we don't have roaches, we fine. I don't have roaches. Them
Understood.
dishes will live.
Understood.
But that being said, telling our kids, to clean their room, sometimes, like you said, how you say it, the tone, the body
Right.
language, the look of disgust on your face, like that is going to play a
Yeah.
role. And so when we're saying clean your room, they are hearing you are messy and lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that there are some non-gentle parents out there that's like, nah, they just gonna have to clean the room. I get all of that, right? But there's a way you can say things. Now,
Right. Right.
as we get into this, I want to use this, but somebody gonna flag us. It is not parent appropriate. Listen, it is parent appropriate. It's just not kid appropriate. So if your kid is in the room, go ahead and just pause, just turn it off for 30 seconds so that I can say this. In a relationship, if you're having intimacy and you say to your spouse, or you hear your spouse say, let me switch positions, right? Like,
Okay.
turn me over, flip me, whatever, like however y'all say it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a form of, this isn't getting me where I want to be sexually, so let's try something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was to say it like that, or if somebody was to say, like, get off of me, this is horrible. Let me do it because you don't know what you're doing. That is going to be, now it's still the same message, but how you said
Yeah.
it is received so
Right.
much easier. Our kids are the same way. Okay. So clean up this blankety blank room. I'm tired of seeing this. You may be, but telling them, hey, I am tired of seeing this room messy. I need you to tidy it up, right? Maybe it's not, remember we talked about in the last season where Diane has said, it's not that you have to clean up, you have to put things away, right? So
Right.
if that's the
Right.
case, then just say, hey, put these things away so that your room can look tidy. Make up your
Mm-hmm.
bed, right? That
Mm-hmm.
solves the dirty room situation. But if it
Right.
is dirty, can we be mindful? This is what I want you to do. Point it out and not get this over here, get that over here, but just and I have been guilty of that. So I'm not judging anybody.
Sure.
I'm saying that,
Right.
hey,
Same here.
on the side of your bed, there's clothes. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
nothing's under your bed. This whole area should be clean. This dresser has too much stuff on it. That's what makes it look dirty. Go ahead and clean off all that. You have all these containers with toys on. Do you use these toys? If not, let's go ahead and start throwing stuff away. Let's discard it. And my rule is anything that we wouldn't pack to move, let's just throw it away now. If we would
I
not
like
spend
that.
time boxing it and packing it, can
Right.
we just throw it away now? Because why
Mm-hmm.
do we still have it? It's too much stuff.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get rid of it. Right. And I get it. Everybody doesn't feel that way. But when we are telling our kids and yelling at them about cleaning their room, they're hearing you are messy. You need to,
Yeah.
your hygiene is bad. Like they're hearing that kind of stuff. And we have to be mindful to say it respectfully. I think we forget that our kids are people. And the same way you would say it to your sibling, your parent, whatever, that's the way you should say it to your kid because they are still a
Yeah.
person. They don't deserve any
Yeah.
less respect
Right.
because of their age.
Right. Something that I started to do, keyword started,
Mhm.
because I saw how my daughter would respond to me in the way in
Ah,
which
okay.
I was addressing the tidying of her room, um, was I would ask her first. And so my daughter's 13 now. So, but I would ask her, are you done with your chores for the day? Because there were times where she would be like, I did already. And I'm literally like, no, you didn't. So I was like, let me give her the space of
As I
asking.
say a little prayer for her.
Right. Let me give her the space and let me ask her, did you already complete your chores for the day? Because sometimes there were times where they were half done and clearly you could see they were half done, but she was taking a break and then she was gonna finish up.
Mhm.
So but let's go with the instances where she said yes. So let's say, and she said that multiple times, yes, in regards to, did that include your room? Yes. Okay. I'm seeing certain things that still needs to be completed, which is why I'm asking if you completed your chores. Because, like, to me right now, for what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like your room is clean.
Hmm. Spin the block. Okay.
And so I would then ask, do you want me to help you with those things? And so my version of help, because it's my daughter, she knows me. My help is not to do it for her. It's pointing out, showing her what I see
Okay,
versus
because
what she doesn't
I thought
see.
you was saying that you'd be throwing
No,
stuff away.
no. That's a whole nother show. But when it's an escalated to that point, but I would say, do you want me to show you what I see versus what you may not see given the perspective? I do talk to my child this way. And sometimes it's yes and sometimes it's no. Whenever it's no, I got it. I say, okay, I'm going to give you about 15, 20 minutes. And once you are done, let me know. And whatever needs to be done, I'm going to point out those things that needs to be done so your room can be completed.
Mm-hmm.
Other times where she says yes, and granted, it's always a minimum 5, right? Because we see it all. We see the closet, we see the hamper, we see the stuff that's feel like they're trying to get rescued from underneath the bed. The
Mm-hmm.
clothes, the dresser, the drawers not closing all the way in the dresser. The backpack is just exploded. We see it. We see the cups on. You got one mouth. I don't understand what. Why is there a bag of food? Why is there food substances in the trash can in the room? That's just how I grew up. So yes, so we see all the things, right?
Right.
So when I point out that when she says yes and point out those many things, I see her kind of like getting overwhelmed because I'm like boom, 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 boom. You know, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So given our last conversation, this was the talk that I had with her in regards to you are at this age now.
Mm-hmm.
With this age, the years when you were younger, there was thorough explanation in
Right.
showing you what we expect, what I expect on what a clean room looks like when I say tidy, what that entails as well.
Right.
So daily, we're tidying. We're picking up after ourselves. We shouldn't have the day of the day still in the room that night. No, we're putting things back where it's supposed to go. During the weekend, we're cleaning. So given that we're 13 now,
Right.
and me having to say at 8:30 at night, tidy your room, me questioning, and if I'm questioning it, it's very clear, evident that it's something needs to be done.
Okay.
Right? So for her, she was like, well, mom, when you say these things, you say it like this and you go real fast. When I get upset, I talk faster. I talk fast in general.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like make it a conscious effort to talk slower than you. And I'm like, correct. My bad. Mommy will work on that. And she's like, and when you're talking fast, I'm trying to remember all these things, but I know I'm going to forget something. After the second thing, I know I'm going to forget something. So now I'm focused on don't forget something, don't forget something. And I'm not hearing anything that you actually said regarding what I need to do for the room at that time. So, understandable.
Now I'm going to say this. Um, Kayla has said, "Mommy, you're giving me too many instructions at one time." Like,
I've heard that too.
and I had to go, okay. Now I'm sure she got that from her grandma. Okay.
What? Okay,
Wording.
we'll just roll with that.
Pretty sure. But it don't make it less true. Okay. Mommy, you're telling me too many different things at one time. Also, something else that she'll say, she'll like, my brain doesn't work like that. You're giving me A, B through Z, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I did. She's like, I need A, B, C, D. I need a minute. Then let me do, like, she's like, I could
Right.
take 4 alphabets at a time.
Right.
And I had to realize that that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's
Right.
okay. Like she cannot do it all at one time. Now, here's how I have helped her with that. So
Yeah.
if you are watching on Zoom, you'll be able to see this. If not, then I have created a responsibility chart. Now, this chart is very helpful. It gives like every day, right? These are your responsibilities: homework, reading, studying, extra practice, whether it's Khan Academy or whatever the case may be. Monday through Sunday. Now she's with her dad. She leaves on Fridays to go with her dad. So she usually leaves Friday morning. So Friday, Saturday usually don't have any check marks, although she could knock
Mm-hmm.
off a couple of things in the morning time, but okay. Right. Sundays, I usually let her rest, but that Monday through Thursday better have everything filled out. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's either wash the dishes or start the dishwasher. It's summertime, so we're not using no extra nothing. We need all our energy for the air conditioner. Okay.
Right. Right.
We gonna wash these dishes. But it's
Right.
like wash them, dry them. Now I could put
Drying.
rinse on here, but doggone it, I expect her to know to rinse them before she dry them. So wash them, dry,
Right.
put them away, right? Or unload the dishwasher. Clean the
Mm-hmm.
stove range, the countertops, dry off the counter because honey, them wet counters make me angry. Okay. I go to put something on there. Now everything's sliding off the what happened here? Okay. So clean the kitchen table, wash the table mat. Like everything is on here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything clean inside the microwave plate. Okay. So if you can't see this, like I promise, like I will drop in the chat the link to like because it's like $2 so you don't have to recreate it yourself. It's like this $2 link. I promise I'll have it for you. But sweep the floor, mop it, right? Insert the day of the week. What day of the week do you want this mopped? Right? Because that's
Right. Right.
important, especially if you walk around the house with shoes. And we didn't used to, but now we got the dog. Like I'd be scared
Oh,
I'm gonna step in a
right.
puddle or something. So, like, yeah, shoes is on in the house. But that means that the carpet is shampooed every week. Because one, in case the dog done messed up something, and then two, because we walking in the house from the outside. So
Yeah.
all these things are definitely on the list. Take out the trash. Like this is just in the kitchen area. We ain't talking about nothing else. We put the bread in the pantry, wipe off the front of the stove and the door handle, all of that stuff. Dinner and leftovers, insert the name of who's supposed to do this on any particular week. Clean it up, right? Make a list of
Yeah.
items we need. If you took the last Ziploc, put it on the list. It's a whole
Right.
little notepad stuck to the refrigerator. Put it, you don't need to text it to me. Just put it on the list, right? If the Tupperware is old or you know what I'm saying, like it's just put
Mm-hmm.
it on the list. I got it. I promise. Right? These are things that you need to be able to do from the dining
Mm-hmm.
room, the bedroom. You shouldn't have to tell your kids to make up the bed, but guess what? Put it on the
It's
checklist
on there.
and
Right.
it's
It's on
because they
there.
know. Clean off the
Right.
dresser, including wiping it off. Right? Clean the
Right.
mirrors, empty the trash, clean
Yeah.
under the bed,
Right.
put your
Right.
jewelry away. Like when you, my thing is, if you have the checklist, everything I'm going to ask you is done.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Right.
change your
Yeah.
sheets this week? What days are we changing it? Right. I'm big on like at least twice a week changing the sheets. And that's because we shower at night and then I'll shower in the morning. But if you shower in the morning and you getting in these sheets, I don't care what this the next morning you pull these sheets off. If you did not shower before don't you put the whole day in this bed and then no, no,
Right.
no. Ain't how it go. But it's real just taking dirty clothes to the laundry, replace missing light bulbs. Because how many times have you walked in your kid's room and it was dark? What is we vampire vibes in here? What is going on? Removing clothing too small from closets and drawers.
Yeah.
Because why you keep telling me you can't fit nothing? But
Right.
you got a whole closet full of nothing to wear. I don't get that. Right. So my point is everything can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Yeah.
make a list, you got it. If you just
Yes.
make a list. Okay. So
Right.
that being said,
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
that way I don't
Yes.
have to say your room is messy. If you
Right.
look on
Right.
this list and you look in your room and it ain't do what just and then put some check marks so that you know you did it. Put a
Right.
check mark.
Right. Right.
And I promise
Right.
I will come and put some gold stars and stuff. I'll do it all, but get this mess. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But if what they hearing is you messy and you know, your
Right.
hygiene is bad and you a horrible person, yes, it's
Right.
gonna create a different level of
Mm-hmm.
anxiety for our kids. All right. All right, what's your next one?
I'm going to jump down to Oh, and I think this one, everyone, every parent like, mm-hmm, is the you should get off your phone, basically. Get off your phone, get off your tablet, get off your iPad, your laptop, the video game. And depending, I would say for this one, depending on how old your child is, kind of just determines the level of awareness.
Right.
But there's that aspect of you can't handle what you do. You can't handle the video game. You can't handle electronic because you on it all the time. You're not doing things you're supposed to be doing. So like you can't handle it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't forgot your responsibilities. You don't forgot to use the bathroom. Like
Don't forget
I've
to use the
heard a
bathroom.
lot. Okay, you don't forgot to eat. So it's
I've
you
heard that.
have no. Hmm?
I thought I've heard that one. I forgot to.
Oh yeah. So with that, the translation or the message that the child gets is just I don't know how to handle my phone.
Right. You have no self-control type thing. Yeah.
Right. Any electronic, I have no self control with. Granted, your child may not be using the word self control. That's why I'm kind of
Right.
like give a different wording to it, but that's kind of like the message that's sent.
What they're saying is you always blame my phone for everything.
Right, right. Whatever take electronic device it is, that's who to blame, right?
Right.
Um, so my take on the electronic is, and I always say provide context,
Hmm.
inform and provide context.
Right.
So my daughter is infamous. She feels her phone is the TV. It is not.
Okay.
Any shows that you're watching on your phone are shows that you can watch on TV.
Especially with the way they be charging for that extra streaming.
It's, and it wasn't until recently that this one too, where well, actually, let me back up and be honest. I saw something on social media that kind of explained. It was basically what caught my eye or my ear, I should say, is that it was saying that more children were getting this certain type of eye vision disease or condition because of
Your phone.
electronics. So I
Yeah.
wanted to know more. And so basically they're saying a lot of children, even adults, but because their eyes are still developing, having a device with it. I'm not a doctor. Girl, let me say this first. I want nobody like Danielle said, no, 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 no. Do your own research. Ask your eye doctor if you got one. Don't come for me. I'm just sharing with you what I heard and what I saw. So
Right.
basically, we're saying that having more times than not, or spending an extended amount of time of only using your vision for within close proximity, basically the muscles that would need to be used, it basically weakens or doesn't work the muscles that you have to use to see far. And it changes the shape of the kid's eye. So, girl, it was a hard. I was like, wait, I was like, honey, come sit down. Come watch this together. Because she's also at that phase of mama don't know nothing. We adolescents and
Right.
teens, mama don't know nothing. We
If
gonna
it's
learn
on the
together.
internet, it's true. All right. Well, let me see what's on the internet.
Right. And he did a couple of more extra additional Google searches, and we watched that as well. But understanding why our no is no, understanding why the get off of this, you're giving a time for this. It's like, no, it's not to get justification, not to get an okay or for your child to agree.
Mhm.
The explanation around certain things is so your child can understand why you made the decision that you made, even if it was no. It's not for them to like it. My daughter doesn't like when, oh, it's a weekday and you're off the phone. You're off the phone at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you still have some school stuff, that's not phone related. That's your school Chromebook.
Right. And get in the habit of getting in here and doing your homework so that it's done at a decent hour. Because if your homework is not finished at 9, you got to explain that to your teacher. But we're not going to pretend like you didn't have 6 hours after school to get it done.
Exactly, exactly. And then there's the other aspect of having that conversation. And remember, everything I'm saying, you're talking to your child in regards to what is expected of them given this
Mhm.
situation.
Mhm.
So with my daughter, what is expected of you at your big 13 self, but we've had several conversations at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We start young, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're not picking up your cell phone to look up anything entertainment wise. Your room is clean.
Mm-hmm.
The dishwasher is unloaded and loaded. Sinks are cleared out. You
Right.
did your homework. You pulled out your clothes for tomorrow. You tidied your bathroom to make
Put
sure,
your
well, from
laundry
wherever that
away.
morning, she got a list, okay? So when you pull out that phone, that my translation of that is that you've done all your checklists
Mm-hmm.
before you even got to that phone. And within that, that ensues in regards to self-control. Like you don't get me wrong, as adults, we want to be on our phone too. And we have to check ourselves too because we look up and girl,
Absolutely.
it's 10 o'clock at night. I just blinked my eye and it went from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. that quick.
Right.
So there's that aspect of teaching, one, providing the structure, but pointing out like you're doing this instead of this. And that's why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Even though so you're picking up your phone first thing in the morning, even though you know to get up, use the bathroom, brush your teeth. You there wallowing in the stank mouth. Mm-hmm. You
Right.
are. And,
You,
and you're choosing that for you, and that's not a good choice. Anyways, but you get what I'm saying. So you know what you're supposed to be doing. However, you're
absolutely.
not, and that in itself is showing that okay, at this time, you're showing mommy and daddy that you can't handle the electronic.
Yeah. And even if you feel like that's not what, or even if you feel like what your parents said was worse than that, the reality is you should spend less time on your phone. It does not mean that you don't have self-control, but it does mean that you need to control yourself with this phone. Right?
Right.
Like that's the
Correct.
difference.
There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
There's
there's
a
also a
difference.
generational gap. Like, you know what I'm saying? With technology, we did not grow up with technology in our hands.
Right. We didn't.
We went
That
outside.
was for the rich folk. Yeah, but that was for the folk who had money, and
But
not the
but
right
even
money
then,
all the
they just
time.
had a
But
car phone. Well, they did have the brick phones that they could walk
they
around with.
did.
And I
They
remember
did.
like
Yeah.
being like 16, and we had like, if you went somewhere at night, then your grandparents gave you their brick phone. Like you take this with you.
Right.
But at
Right.
the end of the day, like there is a technology gap for the generation because
Hmm.
we turned over blocks. They, not even coloring with real crayons. They coloring on an iPad. It is
They
a
are.
difference. So it is a
Yeah.
part of their life
There.
in a way that it wasn't a part of our life, but we are still
Hmm.
responsible for making sure that they pull it
Hmm.
together. So that being said, I want to address this one. And that
Oops.
I know that we have talked about this in our parenting, but it's this one that says, change your clothes. And what they hear is, I have terrible taste. Now, two things can be true at one time.
Right.
But if I'm saying that outfit isn't appropriate, it doesn't mean you have
Hmm.
terrible taste. It means we're going to a funeral or a memorial and you can't wear the doggone sweats.
Yeah.
It means, hey, this outfit is not appropriate for the weather. It is
Hmm.
100 degrees outside. Why do you need a sweater, a hoodie? Because I might get cold. Where?
Where?
Where
Right.
you? We
Where?
gonna be outside. And we might walk into a store. Girl, that 5 minutes inside a Bath and Body Works. Okay, 10. Okay, because I ain't gonna say me only being there for 5 minutes. But that 10 minutes in Bath and Body Works is not going to equate to you freezing to doggone death.
Hmm.
So if I say that your outfit is inappropriate, I am not trying to stifle your self-expression. Let's be clear about that. I'm not trying to stifle your self-expression. What I am trying to do is discuss your ability to understand how this outfit is going to make you overheat. And the bill for heat stroke is higher than the bill for this t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please. You are making me hot. And I try not to say that. Like you're making me hot because that don't have nothing to do with her, right?
Right.
But can
Sound
you
like a you
please?
thing. Hmm.
And even if she put on some shorts, Kayla will still put that doggone hoodie on. I cannot take it. Okay. So my compromise is you can take the hoodie, but don't ask me to carry it and you better not leave it. But sheesh, can we talk about the context of appropriate clothing versus your taste in clothing? Because that's
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah.
It's too hot. And then when it's cold, you're like, I can't wear these shorts. Girl, it is -3 outside. What do you? I don't understand how their bodies don't regulate the temperature appropriate.
That I think is still up to for grasp for someone to be able to understand and explain it. Please share with us if you understand how that works.
Now I understand in class, like it's cold in the classrooms because
Cool.
it's
Yeah.
hot outside, so the teachers turn on the
Mhm.
air. One, because it helps with the funk.
Right. Right.
Uh, like yeah, sweaty bodies and closed classrooms with the sun, it don't mix. It's not a good thing. So I understand the teacher has on the air, so it gets cold in the classroom. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you need your hoodie for that, fine. In the wintertime, the teacher got on the heater. It's raining. Y'all ain't been out for PE. So now the heater's on, so you want to take off all your clothes because it's hot in here. But we ain't a Nelly video. So you're going to have to make sure that you do what's necessary. But I'm
Mhm.
not happy with this. I'm not saying that you don't know how to dress. I'm not trying to stifle your style. I am saying that sweats at a memorial are not okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. Not gonna play with this
Oh, that's
kid
super.
or any of these other
Yes.
kids.
Right.
Doggone it. Okay. That being said, one that we've had recently, as Kayla said, that she feels like I'm pressuring her regarding her grades, right? Sometimes when we say you need to focus more on your studies, our kids
Mhm.
hear you're not smart enough. So I had to explain to her there's a difference between me saying do your best and you're not doing your best. Do your
Mhm.
best, work hard, and if you get a C, you get a C.
Mhm.
A is not what is impressing me. It is your tenacity and your ability to do your best and get the
Right.
C. Because if that's your best,
Yeah.
that's your best. That
Right.
being said, 2 hours on the VR, what is it called? Oculus or whatever. 2 hours on that, and then you get a C tells me that you just didn't study, that you didn't spend enough time studying.
Mhm.
That's what that tells me. And I understand that there's pressures that kids feel about like academic performance. I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
And so I try to
Yeah.
focus on her progress versus
Mhm.
deficiencies. Okay.
Right. Right.
And that's that what do they call it? The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, right? So the growth mindset or fixed, let's start with the fixed mindset, says you are so smart. The growth mindset says, I see how hard you worked on this. So I try to focus on how hard she
Right.
worked on getting whatever
Yeah.
grade she got,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
I am by default going to tell her that she's smart, but I'm working on not saying that versus, hey, I see how hard you worked on this.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Instead of saying something like, and I would never say this to my daughter, but instead of saying like maybe you're just not cut out for that, right? I'm
Some
more of
parents
the
do. Yeah.
let's take some time to get a new strategy. Let's talk to your coach and see what else you could be doing to help improve your skills, and then let's focus
Mhm.
on that. What
Right.
two
Right.
things can we do this week to improve?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as we focus on that, it becomes easier, right? The
Mhm.
mindset is, okay, I'm gonna focus on this, I'm gonna get better at this, and then we'll see how much better I am at the whole,
Go.
right?
Mhm.
It's like instead of I'm not good at this, like what could I be doing better? What's missing from my formula that I can work
Yes.
on? Um,
Yes.
I'm not for it's too hard. What do you mean it's too hard? I put like don't tell me that you can't do something because I put good DNA in you. You got all the best of me. So if it's too hard, if you feel like you can't do it, my mindset is what do we need to do so that we can do it?
Mm-hmm.
It may take more
Yeah.
time, it may take more energy, it may take more effort, but don't tell me that you can't get an A, because I'm gonna send you to Auntie Diane. Auntie Donna gonna pull you. One of the two of them is gonna make sure that you get this A. So don't play, because you don't want to talk to Auntie Donna. And
Right.
sometimes you don't want to talk to Auntie Diane. I done seen you cry
Right.
with both, right?
Right. But from that one we can, I would say that all parents can attest that school is different now. So
Yeah.
anything that's resulting in regards to academics can be a trigger. Shoot, just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful for your child as well as the parent.
Wow.
Um, so you I'm going to say this. You cannot use the same terminology. You cannot make the same references from when you were in school to where your kids being in school now. Those are two different eras, okay?
Yeah.
And with that, as Coach Kiana was speaking about the growth versus the fixed mindset, is you can, and hopefully you know this, but you can say the same exact thing saying different words. So as a parent, working towards using words or communicating in a way that allows for options to be pulled from, and also that allows for your child to feel over time that they have a space to be able to communicate and talk about what they're thinking and what they're feeling.
Yes.
And with that, the feelings and the thoughts of their perception, well, their perception of what they got from the message of what you communicated or non or didn't communicate from the nonverbals, it's going to come out and you guys can talk about that. Because granted, there are times where you said it all right. And it's like, where the heck did you get that from? But if your child is does not feel that they have the space to openly share and talk, they're going to hold on to that and
Yeah.
continue to have that be their narrative. So, like for me, I know where my limits are academically, and I know where I thrive academically. So when my daughter has, especially when she's younger, when she had projects, now she kind of just does them on her own. But we did the project together and we learned together. And there was a part of when I say learn together, because I'm like, this school stuff for this day and age, they got my child doing this at 6. Well, I was doing this in junior high. How they
Right.
even expect? And then obviously every child wants to do well.
Mhm.
And when they don't do well, they have their own message that they're telling themselves.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying and how you're saying it may be reinforcing that negative message that they're telling themselves. You really have to be mindful with that.
Yeah.
Um, so, that's just something to keep in mind as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that when we're conscious of it, then we'll be okay. Like, but we got to be
Yeah,
conscious. And
right,
listen, we by no means are perfect. Like, I think we say that every episode. We are by
right.
no means perfect. But as we are in this parenting journey with y'all, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because we
We
are
in this
not by
together.
ourselves. You are not in this by yourself. We are all in
Not.
this together. Was it all in together? It is that may have been off key, but no, that was off key. The point is, because I will never sing on key. So we all in this together. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I want to say um there are ways that we could discuss like financial stuff. So a lot of times, we are like, be careful with your money, be responsible with your money. And what they hear is simply you are irresponsible with your money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what you said.
Right.
But financial advice can feel judgmental. And
Yeah.
oftentimes they feel like we just feel like they just spending their money frivolously or whatever. And sometimes they want to spend it
I'm about to
frivolously.
say,
Like,
and granted, they may be. They
yeah,
may
because
be.
$100 on bubble gum sound good when you 10. You know what I'm saying? 100 like $300 shoes sound good when you not buying them. Okay.
Mm,
So there's that.
right.
But I do suggest setting up, because of what they hear, I suggest setting up like the allowance game. I know Lakeshore Learning has the allowance game.
Oh, okay.
Probably can find it on Amazon, but it is by Lakeshore Learning. It's one of the best budgeting games because it's like, oops, you accidentally spilled money over here and you got to pay for that. Okay, now you got some money from babysitting, so that's money in your pocket. Now oh man, you forgot to return your library book, right? And it's things that parents shouldn't have to take care of because you got your own money. You did
Mm-hmm.
not turn in your library book. That's your 50 cent, right? Or the price of the book depending on the situation, because
Right.
apparently they don't just charge you 50 cent. They be like,
Not
bring the
anymore.
book
Not
back or send
anymore.
the money for it.
Right.
Lord, sorry, right? But it is what it is. And so making sure that you are in fact like setting up an opportunity for your kids to discuss money with you, but not where they feel like they have discussed you with their money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's see here.
No,
So,
look, I'm like, don't have an uncomfortable silence. Go.
and in therapy, it's okay to have uncomfortable silence, right? So, anyways,
That's exactly how I felt too.
so,
Like, like if you had that prolonged pause, that pregnant pause, they gonna know I'm talking about myself. Like,
that's funny. So, and granted, like
yes.
there's many things that children pulls, and sometimes it's their own message, but there's also that aspect of how we say it, what's said and not said. That's what they pull from in regards to the message. So why didn't you tell me about the party? And granted, it's not necessarily that specific question, but the aspect of like, why didn't you tell me? Um, and the message that they get from that is you don't trust me. And then you do a hard pause right quick. There may be a lot of things that your child has done where you don't trust them. They may be in
Yes.
that phase of childhood, adolescence, teens, that they done did some stuff and you don't trust. You second guessing, like, I don't know, because what's been going on, it's questionable. It's
Right.
questionable. Um, and so keeping that in mind, is more so the aspect of you didn't tell me and then fill in the blank. And I don't even necessarily start or make phrases of you didn't tell. It's just my way by way of how I'm trained. So
Right.
because the connotation, it doesn't matter how you say it, how nice you say it has a negative tone to it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm speaking from the aspect of given different words of how you can say it, but it has the same message. Well, it has the proper message can be conveyed. So there's a part of one, talking to your children, just having a conversation with them, and that's
That's
not
the
out of
thing.
the blue. Okay, if it's
Yeah.
out of the blue, your child gonna be looking at you like, what's wrong? Did something happen?
Right.
Right, like,
What you already know that you
right,
ain't tell me, you know.
what's really happening, because it's not normal. So get into a practice, and if you listen of our previous episodes, we talk about just having that consistent communication
Yes.
with your children, that open communication. So where I'm speaking from the aspect of continuing that open communication even as they are older, so that you will be informed of certain things. It's going to come up because you guys have that
Right.
different level of trust and that deeper level bond with each other. So, and the conversation is literally a back and forth conversation. It's not multiple questions. It's not interrogation. It's not going through the checklist of you did this and who did this. And no, it's a conversation. But let's say it is something that came across that you didn't know. You can, I was going to say, you can easily say, but it can be said like, oh, I wasn't aware of that. Oh, I didn't know that happened. But once again, it's a tone. It wasn't like, oh, I didn't know that. That's
Right.
a clear difference between like, oh, I didn't know that happened. And from there, you can ask like, well, can you, let me say this. I know we don't talk like this. I'm giving various examples. So sometimes when you're in it,
Right.
you don't really know what to say. And when you don't know what to say, you're going to say what you've been saying, which is why you listen to this podcast. So with that being said, is could you, can you share with mommy what happened? Share with daddy what happened. Um, you can even point out this may be uncomfortable to talk about. Can you help mommy understand though?
Right. But if it's something as simple as, you didn't tell me about the party, maybe saying like, "Oh, I wish I would have known because I already have something planned." Even if that plan,
Yeah,
we were talking about this earlier, um,
right,
off camera, like even if that plan is to rest, because that's a task,
right,
and I got to
right,
make
right.
time for it. So if you springing a party on me, now I have to drive you. I got to stay up and pick you up. Like, no, that's not how that goes. So, like, getting them to understand, like, hey, I need to know about the
Mm-hmm.
party because I want to make sure that I can plan accordingly. And if you don't tell
Mm-hmm.
me in enough time, the answer is always going to be no.
Right,
I think that's fair
right,
because, like, you had no permission to go no way. You have a ride.
right.
You had no money.
Right.
Take a gift. Stop playing with me.
Go down the whole list. Okay. But right, 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 and right.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Did we discuss homework?
Okay. No, we didn't. We did
Okay.
not.
I
So that's
I
the
think
homework
that
aspect. It threw me off with the studies, but no,
yeah,
we
focus
didn't
on
do
this.
the
Okay,
homework.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's kind of the same thing, like the homework versus the studies. But it's the bigger thing, just in adding to the studies part. It's like asking our kids, did they finish their homework, can trigger feelings of like the things we've said prior to, like,
Hmm.
oh, you have to do better in school and you got to do this, you got to do that. Reminding ourselves that we must, in fact, teach our kids to do their best, show them how they can eliminate distractions, right? Um, and then asking about specific subjects that they enjoy first before we get into the hard stuff. That way
Yeah.
they can say, you never asked me about the stuff I like. Yes, I do. I start there. And then
Yeah.
maybe save one for last, right? Do the sandwich method. Start with the good in get in the middle of what they not necessarily doing well in,
Mhm.
and then finish up with, oh, but you did get that A in whatever PE. I don't know,
Right.
but
Right.
ending it on a high note so that they're not feeling like the message that you're sending is they're not doing well in school. Because
Hmm.
again, what we say
Yeah.
versus what they heard are very different
Right.
things. All right.
Right. Right.
That's all I want to say on that one. Like I wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
specifically address homework.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a few more
Same.
minutes. You got any more?
Yeah. Uh, oh yeah, I think this should be a good one to end on is you shouldn't hang out with that person. That friend that I don't know about that friend.
Yeah.
And the message from that is your friends are bad influences. Granted, they may be.
I was gonna say
Um,
sometimes them little suckers are.
Granted, they may be. Um, but I think what comes to mind is as parents, when we kind of start saying those phrases or making those statements, our kids are a bit older in the instance of maybe like 10 and a half, 11, 12, 13, and granted it can go on, but that's kind of like where it may start. And when referencing, because this day and age, as far as the kids, that social bond
Mhm.
is strong. It was strong when we were growing up, but this right here, what's going on now is a totally different level. Okay.
Right.
So when there is the association of the friends not being a good influence or being a bad person or just even questionable, there's that aspect of they're doing it, which they may be, but they're doing it. And they're not, and your child's not making good decisions, who they're picking, as a friend. They're not making the best I won't say positive decision, but just I would say a realistic decision related to the fact of who they want to be as a person. And granted, it can be very much influenced by wanting to be in the in crowd, because that's a thing that I don't think that's going to be something that ever goes away. Um, and also wanting to be liked. Your child, and even just as an adult, for the most part, the majority of us want to be liked, but even more so, your children are very impressionable. So they want, for the most part, want to have friends, and unfortunately also depend in sometimes to the demise of doing things that they know they're not supposed to be doing, or they may chalk it up to the fact that, well, I don't do that, they do that, but now you're associated with them.
Right.
So
Association is
have
no joke.
and it wasn't then, but it really isn't now, because people going to, anyways, y'all know. So with that, I'm going to speak to the aspect of, I'm stay focused, Danielle. I'm going to speak to the aspect of, it's all about communication. It's all about having those ongoing talks with your children. It's not, I talked to them before, and I talked when they were 5. So
Right.
having a friend date, a play date at 5 is different at 15. So you get my gist, okay?
Conversation.
So exactly. So these should be ongoing, age appropriate adjustments, all that conversations as they transition and get older.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that when your baby is born, you may or may not be breastfeeding, but at some capacity, they may be drinking a bottle. Then they go to a sippy cup with handles. Then they go to a regular cup. You get what I'm saying? Now they want the Starbucks, but you get what I'm saying. So it's a transition. So the conversation should be transitioning as your children are showing you, and or as they are exposed to certain things, whether it's something that you allowed or not allowed. As a parent, have these ongoing conversations, these in-depth, these open conversations with your children, so that level of trust, that deeper level of bonding is established and created. So when these difficult, uncomfortable topics happen, you can still have those tough conversations, and you can clarify whatever message that they heard or came up with, that can be talked about and clarified.
Facts. So you said that and it made me think of a few things. But one of the things I think that as parents, we will tell our kids, and I hear this in class, like, I teach for the Upward Bound program at a local college or university. And a lot of the kids are under so much pressure from their parents. And we're
Yeah.
telling them, what parents are saying is, you need to start thinking about your future. What the kids are hearing is, you ain't gonna be nothing. Like,
Mm,
that's the difference.
mm,
The
yeah.
kids talk about the pressures that they feel. And I have to say this, it is absolutely crazy that the world expects 18-year-olds to pick a career that they're still gonna love at 45.
Right.
Now, there
Right.
are a lot of people who do it, right? But there are a lot of people who
Right.
don't. And this is why you have doctors who are clowns on the weekends, or lawyers who want to be rappers, right? Because there's one thing of doing something that, paid the bills. It's another thing of doing something you really want to do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so when we're talking about our kids, about the future, it's really a daunting thing for them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, what is it supposed to look like? And then they're
Mm-hmm.
afraid that you're going to kick them out and not support them. They're
Right.
afraid that they're going to have to pay these bills. They're trying to figure out, how do I do that? Right. And go to school. I have one young girl. She was like, listen, I am going to school. I'm paying bills. I'm taking all AP classes. Like, she's like, what else do they want from me?
What?
She's like, nothing
Yeah.
is good enough. And she's feeling the pressure. Now,
Mm.
I wasn't there for the conversation, so I don't know if her parents actually said that or if that's what she heard.
She.
But I'm
Right.
telling
Right.
you,
Right.
whatever they
Mm-hmm.
said, she is hearing it a certain way. And it's our
Right.
responsibility as parents, to make sure that our children are getting the actual message we're receiving.
Yeah.
So something as simple as, repeat that back to me. Tell me what you heard me say. Tell me what you got out of this, right? And even helping our kids. Okay, I want you to plan for your future. I want to make sure that you are securing it. So let's talk about what you really like to do. Let's talk about if that will make you money. Because a lot of kids are like, I'm going to follow my passion, but it's hard to be the light when your lights are out. So I need you to also pursue something that is going to make you money in the midst
Mm-hmm.
of following your passion. So suggesting that they break goals down into smaller steps, something more manageable, right? Discussing their interests. And you can start with like four major steps. Like here you are here, here's where you want to be. What are the four major things? That might be graduate high school, graduate college, get your AA degree, graduate with your BS, and then maybe get a master's. That could be your four steps. But okay, what does that look like? What does my home look like? Life look like in that? Okay, so I have like I'm couch surfing on one. Like I'm couch surfing right now. My goal is to
Mm-hmm.
just like be able to rent a room where I don't have people walking in and out. Just a room where I have my
Mm-hmm.
own space. And then my next goal is to have a one bedroom apartment. I'm gonna stay there until I finish my law degree or whatever. Then I was just buy a
Mm-hmm.
house. Like there are steps to this, but
Right.
if we never
Along the
even
way.
give them the four big steps, how are they going to know that they're supposed to break them up into four more
Right.
steps each, giving them 16
Right.
steps? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Life is full of how do we pivot? And as parents, we have to be mindful of can we support their dreams in a supportive way that also accomplishes the goal? Can their agenda be safely accomplished within our big agenda of making sure that they are self-sufficient, self-sufficient people making integrity-based decisions? That is not easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not. But if our words are, you need to start thinking for your future because you won't be anybody, or because I'm not going
Right.
to always be around, you're triggering
Right.
panic.
Right.
That's not what
Mm-hmm.
we want.
Or
And I'm
come
being
18,
honest.
you're not gonna be here. Like, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Instead of saying, hey, as long as you are in school, going to work, you can stay as long as you want. And respectful. Let me throw that in
right.
there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
some people get
Right.
18 and they like, I'm going to school, I'm
Right.
working, I can do what I want to do. I'm coming in at
Mm-hmm.
3, and you like, nah, that's not the
Right.
agreement we had. So let's be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of that, how we approach it, how we break it down to them, because they do
Mm-hmm.
listen. They just
Yeah.
need us to talk to them in a way that they can hear.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Danielle. That was a good one.
Hey.
I like that
Yeah.
show. This show. I do. I like it. I like all our shows actually, but this one I was feeling it. I was like,
That's really,
we are helping people.
yeah.
How you doing? You doing all right today?
I'm good. Yes, I am doing
You didn't
all
do a check-in, so I'm just making sure.
right. Thank you for checking in on.
Like I know this is out of order, but I still want to make sure.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Well, thank you all.
Okay.
Hope you all are doing well as well. Thank you for joining us here on Cityscape Radio. We are excited to be in a new season of the Real on Parents in KCCR Brownstone Worldwide. We will talk to you all very soon. There's some things coming up. Let's get excited about them, even if you don't know about them. Let's get excited about them.
Right. Glad you said that. I'm like, for what? But yes,
All right. We will
information to
see you
come.
all on the next episode. I'm Coach
Yes.
Kiana Shaw.
Therapist Danielle.
We'll talk to you soon.